Welcome to Tech Hub. I'm Steven.
AP.
Welcome back, man.
Yeah, how's it been?
It's been good. It's been good. Had a couple of guest visitors. Really just one. We had Angel who did some InfoWorks.
Yeah, I saw that one, man. Angel did a killer job.
It was pretty awesome. Just building models. That Mars model is out of this world.
Makes it look pretty fun too, huh?
Well, there's some other things that you can do with InfoWorks that I learned offline and pulling in Revit models, and it started me thinking about some collaboration. And
that's right.
Obviously, when I think of collaboration, I mean, AP is the person that comes to mind.
Oh, thanks, man. Thanks. A lot of pressure there. But yeah, what you're talking about in Revit, when you're talking about collaboration, obviously collaboration for Revit, big piece of that puzzle, right?
Yeah.
So
Does that have an acronym like everything else?
Yes, C4R. If anybody has heard of C4R, collaboration for Revit.
But it's not CFOUR or FOR.
No, the number. We like to shorten things as much as possible. No, but we get a lot of questions around this. This has actually been a very hot tool, I would say. At least in my time at Autodesk, has been a lot of conversation around collaboration for Revit. It's really just kind of blown up in recent time. Well, I'd say the last 2 years. So
yeah,
yep.
Yeah. It's one of the things that just came out of the woodwork and it exploded, and now it's right. I think it's worldwide now.
Yeah. So to give everybody just a brief overview of what we're talking about. Collaboration for Revit is a service built into Revit. Basically enables cloud-based models, right? You can host your model on the cloud as opposed to on a local network or a wide area network. It's kind of in replacement of Revit Server, if you will, in a lot of ways. But what's important to note, it's built on top of BIM 360 Team as a service. So if anybody has questions about BIM 360 Team, check out the other video. It's in there, right? Obviously, spent some time going through that.
For sure.
But today, we'll just kind of go through C4R, the service, some of the bigger points with it.
Yeah.
I think the biggest value point being that, first and foremost, it just enables a lot of flexibility by way of access to that model. Really, at its base point, as long as you have an internet connection, you can work in Revit.
So that's the part that I think a lot of people like about it is, and IT departments, they don't have to buy servers, they don't have to buy WAN accelerators or LAN accelerators. It's just all based upon your own current internet system. Yeah,
definitely. And that's been the biggest hurdle, I think, long term with a lot of even Revit Server. You're contingent on the internet connection, but then that IT cost to set everything up, server base, get your areas networked correctly. Obviously, the long-term maintenance cost of that as well. So collaboration for Revit obviously kind of sidesteps a lot of that equation.
Yeah.
Like we mentioned, as long as you got that internet connection, you can access your live Revit model. So
making people work at home.
Yeah, you know it, right? So where I'm going to start, and I think it's probably the best starting point.
Yeah.
We get a lot of these questions when we start talking about the service, is what actually happens to my regular Revit model? What's different about this service as the way we always operated? What happens to work sharing? How do my teams get managed? Things like that. I'm sure you run into those quite a bit as well.
Yeah, especially with different trades trying to collaborate with each other on the design process itself.
Yep.
We talk about collaboration all the time with our BIM 360 platform. But what about before you even get to that point?
Yeah.
What about when they're just doing schematic design, before the CDs are popping out?
Sure.
Being able to share that stuff back and forth.
Yeah, absolutely. So at its base point, right, when we're talking about the structure of it, like I mentioned a couple times now, the Revit model is essentially living in the cloud. It's living on that BIM 360 Team environment. So when you access BIM 360 Team, if you have collaboration for Revit enabled, you'll basically see a Revit model, an RVT. It'll say cloud-based cloud Revit model next to it.
Nice little symbol of the cloud.
Yeah, I don't think there's a symbol of the cloud, but nonetheless.
Oh, that disappoints me.
I know, there should be, right?
I would think so.
But nonetheless, right, that the initial time you access a model, it essentially downloads to your local machine. Mm-hmm. So you do have a quote-unquote local copy. I'm going to kind of clarify there. It is not historically what you have in Revit, where you actually have that local RVT file that you can then access. It's essentially a data structure that lives in the depths of the folder structure of Revit. It is the data cache, but it's not the actual file. Okay. And that's kind of the main difference.
You're getting into some technical terms. I was like, please, English.
Yeah.
So it just caches on your system.
Caches on your system.
Awesome.
There's a copy. When you essentially sync, like you've always done in the working environment, you're syncing just the delta transfers. And that's essentially what this
cool
slide is referencing. It all goes through an accelerator that's built into the service. essentially reconciling, again, that local cache with your changes versus the cloud-based model.
That's awesome.
Sound
Just pushing
easy
the
enough?
delta. Imagine pushing that 100 meg, 150, 200,
Yeah.
300 meg,
Talking
400
about-
meg file,
Yep.
and now just pushing a couple of kilobytes or a couple megabytes of data, as opposed to pushing that entire model.
Exactly.
That must just change the amount of time it takes to deal with these collaboration models.
Yeah, big time. That's really the biggest, I think, question or confusion around the service is, okay, how much bandwidth am I actually going to need? If I have an extended team of 15 people in this model in one office and they're all syncing, what does that do to my bandwidth? And essentially this mitigates it,
Very
Because
cool.
the biggest value point, again, is not only in a single office environment, but the multi-offices, right? So if you have firms in multiple locations or
Yeah.
even outside consultants that you really want to be working hand in hand with, you can essentially link in their models live as well. So it really allows for a more collaborative experience.
Awesome.
yeah.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
So we're getting a little short on time today. I think that this C4R is absolutely part one and part two because there's so much involved in it.
Sure.
Stay tuned for next time. We'll catch you later. Any questions, concerns, comments, please let us know. Take it easy.
Thanks a lot.